The haunted road, what they don't want you to know. Some roads take you somewhere. Some roads take you nowhere. And some roads take something from you. This is the story of Black Hollow Road, a stretch of forgotten asphalt cutting through the Appalachian Mountains. A place where drivers vanish, where cars break down for no reason, and where shadows move even when no one is there. If you ever find yourself on Black Hollow Road, turn around, because not everyone who drives in drives out. The legend of Black Hollow Road. The road wasn't always cursed. It was built in the early 1900s, originally part of an old mining route. But something happened in 1954, something no one talks about. A bus carrying 27 children was heading down the road during a heavy storm. The driver lost control. The bus went off the bridge into the Black Hollow River below. None of them survived. For years, the wreckage sat at the bottom of the river, until they finally pulled it out in 1972. The bus was empty, no bodies, no skeletons, just seats covered in scratch marks. The man who never made it home. In 1997, Tom Grayson, a trucker, was taking a shortcut through Black Hollow Road. His CB radio crackled, faint, static-filled. Then, a voice, soft, childlike, "Help me." He thought it was a prank, until his headlights flickered, and he saw something standing in the road, small, drenched, a child. He slammed the brakes, jumped out of the truck, but when he got closer, the child wasn't there, just wet footprints leading into the trees. And then his truck turned off, dead, no power. Tom grabbed his flashlight, tried his CB again, more static. Then the voice returned, "Please, don't leave me." Then laughter, not a child's, something older, something wrong. The next morning, Tom's truck was found still parked in the road, the door wide open, the engine still off. But Tom was never seen again, wasn't there. People driving through Black Hollow Road have reported seeing a hitchhiker, a woman, standing at the edge of the road, just past the old bridge. She waves. If you stop, she gets in. She's quiet, distant, until you look in the rearview mirror. Because by the time you do, she's gone. The door never opened. The seatbelt never moved. She just vanishes. But sometimes drivers say they can still hear her voice. Soft, close, right behind their ear. You should have kept driving. The couple who took the wrong turn. In 2013, Jake and Emily, the young couple on a road trip, got lost. Their GPS glitched, the road signs led nowhere, and somehow they ended up on Black Hollow Road. At first, they thought it was normal, just another lonely stretch of highway. Then, they saw the figure, standing on the bridge ahead. It didn't move, didn't react, just stood there. Emily begged Jake to turn around, but he didn't. He honked, flashed the lights. Still, the figure didn't move. So they got closer, and as their headlights washed over it, they saw its face. It wasn't a person, not anymore. Its skin was pale, stretched, its mouth too wide, and when it blinked, its eyes were completely black. Jake slammed the car into reverse, spun the wheel, the engine roared, then cut off. Everything went dark. Emily screamed. Jake tried the key. Nothing. Then the tapping began, on the windows, on the roof, all around them, tiny hands, hundreds of them, like children crawling over the car. Jake grabbed his phone. No signal. Then the car rocked. Something slammed against the back, hard, and then everything went still. Silence. The car restarted. Jake hit the gas, and as they sped away, Emily looked back. The figure was still standing on the bridge, smiling, watching, and behind it, more shadows, more things. Waiting. The road that leads nowhere. Black Hollow Road is still there. Still waiting. Some say if you drive it at exactly 3:15 a.m., your radio will pick up whispers. Some say if you stop on the bridge, your car won't start again. And some say, if you see a child standing in the road, it's already too late. If you ever find yourself lost and your GPS starts acting strange, if you turn down a road that isn't on the map, and if you see the sign for Black Hollow Road, don't keep driving. Because some roads don't lead to anywhere. Some roads lead to something else. That's tonight's story. If you ever saw something strange on an empty road, maybe you weren't alone. If you liked this story, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more terrifying tales. And let me know in the comments, what's the scariest thing you've ever seen while driving at night? Until next time, sleep well. terrifying road, the creepiest encounter ever. Some roads are forgotten, some roads are dangerous, and some roads should have never been built. This is the story of Shadow Lane, an isolated back road in Montana that has been abandoned for years. A place where headlights die, where drivers disappear, and where something watches from the trees. If you ever find yourself on Shadow Lane, turn around, because once you enter, you may never find your way out. The road that wasn't supposed to exist. Shadow Lane wasn't on any map. Not at first. It was an old service road, built in the 1960s for loggers, but after a series of disappearances, the project was shut down. Locals say something was out there, something in the woods. By the late 70s, the road was officially closed, but people kept finding it anyway. The man who never came back. In 1985, Elliot Carter, a traveling salesman, took a wrong turn on his way home. It was late. He was alone. And that's when he saw it. A road sign, barely visible through the fog. Shadow Lane. His map didn't show it, his GPS didn't recognize it, but it looked like a shortcut. So he took it. And that was his mistake. Elliot's last phone call was at 9:42 p.m. He told his wife he was about an hour from home. He never arrived. His car was found weeks later, deep in the woods. The doors were open. The battery was dead. His suitcase was still in the trunk. But Elliot was gone. No footprints, no signs of a struggle, just a single handprint on the windshield. A child's handprint. The couple who saw something they shouldn't have in 2003. Brian and Lisa, a young couple on a road trip, got lost after taking a detour. Their GPS rerouted them to Shadow Lane. It wasn't supposed to exist, but there it was. At first, it seemed normal, just another lonely road. Then, their headlights flickered. The air grew thick. Lisa felt something was wrong. Then, in the dim glow of the high beams, they saw him. A man standing in the road. Not moving, not reacting, just watching. Brian honked. No reaction. They got closer. The man had no face, just smooth, pale skin where his eyes and mouth should be. Lisa screamed. Brian slammed the gas, and just as they swerved past him, their radio turned on. A voice whispered through the static, "You shouldn't be here." The moment they cleared the road, their GPS worked again. Their car ran fine. But when they stopped at a gas station an hour later, Lisa checked the back seat and saw the handprint on the window. Small, faint, like a child had been sitting there, watching. The boy and the road truck drivers refused to take Shadow Lane, but every now and then someone ignores the warnings, and when they do, they always report the same thing. A boy in the middle of the road, standing still, staring. Drivers who stop to help vanish. Drivers who keep going see him again, a mile later, and again, until finally, he's in the back seat, smiling, waiting. The last warning, Shadow Lane is still out there, still waiting. Some say if you enter after midnight, your engine will stall. Some say if you hear laughter in the trees, don't stop. And some say, if you see the boy, it's already too late. If you ever find yourself on an empty road at night, and your GPS stops working, if your headlights flicker, and if you see a sign for Shadow Lane, don't drive forward. Because some roads don't lead anywhere. Some roads lead to something else. That's tonight's story. If you've ever seen something strange on a back road, maybe you weren't alone. If you like this story, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more terrifying tales. And let me know in the comments, what's the scariest thing you've ever seen while driving at night? Until next time, sleep well. The unexplained road. You won't believe what happened. Some roads lead to nowhere. Some roads lead to something worse. And some roads shouldn't exist at all. Tonight we're talking about Route 47, an abandoned stretch of highway in Arizona that has been wiped from maps, erased from records, and yet people still find it. And when they do, they don't come back the same. If they come back at all. The road that shouldn't exist, Route 47, was officially shut down in 1988. A major accident, a bus full of passengers vanished into thin air, forced the government to close the road for good. The bridge collapsed, the road was condemned, and over time, people forgot it ever existed. But here's the thing, some drivers still find it. And when they do, their stories don't make sense. The man who drove into nothing. In 2012, A truck driver named Dale Parker was making a routine trip through Arizona when his GPS malfunctioned. The device rerouted him onto a highway that shouldn't have been there. Route 47. Dale wasn't the kind of guy to believe in ghost stories, but the moment he turned onto the road, his radio died, his headlights dimmed, and everything around him went quiet. He drove for miles without passing a single car. Then, a figure appeared on the side of the road. A woman, dressed in white, waving for help. Dale slowed down, but as his headlights passed over her, she disappeared. No dust, no footprints, just gone. He slammed the gas, and the moment he crossed the county line, his radio came back, his GPS worked again, and Route 47 was no longer behind him, like it had never existed. The woman who walked into the fog. In 1999, a newlywed couple, Sarah and James Carter, were driving home from their honeymoon when they got lost. Their GPS led them to Route 47. At first, it seemed normal. Then, the fog rolled in. Thick, too thick. James slowed down, trying to see the road ahead, and that's when they saw it. A man standing in the middle of the road, not moving, not reacting, just watching. James hit the brakes. Sarah panicked, said, "Let's turn around," but before they could, the man lifted his arm, pointing at Sarah. And then the fog swallowed her. James turned. Sarah was gone. The car door was still locked. Her seatbelt was still buckled. But Sarah vanished. A massive search was launched. Her body was never found. But 2 weeks later, James woke up to a handprint on his window. Small, cold, like Sarah had been standing there trying to get in. The man in the rearview mirror. In 2007, a college student named Ethan Myers was driving home late at night when his car stalled. The engine was fine, the battery was fine, but his headlights wouldn't turn on. Then, his radio turned to static, and in the mirror, a man was sitting in his back seat, smiling. Ethan didn't hesitate. He jumped out of the car, ran. But no matter how far he ran, he was still on Route 47. The road never ended. Then, a voice whispered, "You shouldn't have stopped." The next morning, Ethan's car was found. The door was still open, his wallet, his phone, his keys, all inside. But Ethan was never seen again. The road that eats people. The thing about Route 47 is that it doesn't always appear on maps. But sometimes, people find it anyway. Some say it's a loop. If you drive it long enough, you'll never leave. Some say it's a trap, a place that wants people to get lost. But those who survive it, they all say the same thing. Something was watching me. So if you're ever driving down a road that shouldn't exist, if your GPS reroutes you, if you see a figure in the fog, do not stop. Because once you enter Route 47, you may never leave. That's tonight's story. If you've ever driven down a road that felt wrong, maybe you weren't alone. If you like this story, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more terrifying tales. And let me know in the comments, what's the scariest thing you've ever seen on a deserted road? Until next time, sleep well.